Now I'm going to talk about MICH, which is our international graduate program at UEC Tokyo, and recruitment for academic year 2021 begins very shortly as for the fall semester of year 2021. Now, what does MICH stand for? It stands for Multifaceted International Collaboration Hubs. Well, it's an acronym for these 4 words, and from which I sort of guess, and you sort of guess what this program aims at, and I'm going to explain in further details. Now, this is how I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you about course overview, recruitment capacity, and MICH organization, and then finally some message from program director. Also, I'll indicate to you where you can find further details. Now, what's MICH? Well, first of all, it's our new international graduate program of Graduate School of Informatics and Engineering. It is sponsored by the Japanese government, and it's known as very prestigious scholarship program. And it is commissioned to us, UEC, through Ministry of Education. Now, it is good news indeed that our first enrollment has been now completed for fall semester 2020. And a couple of students are still in sort of a quarantine, but nevertheless, they are in Japan. So I should say, despite COVID-19, it has started rolling successfully. And now we are calling very shortly for applications for fall semester 2021. Now, what does MICH aim at? First, fostering engineers and scientists who can bridge various fields of specialty, industry and academia, and without hampered by national borders. Thus, we expect that the students in this program would form networks of trained individuals who can collectively contribute to sustainable development goals, higher education in developing countries, and advanced technology of tomorrow, and so forth. Well, of course, that's what universities are for, not surprisingly. Now, so some detail, course overview. This program consists of 4 departments and 1 joint doctoral program that is the entirety of our graduate school in informatics and engineering. So that means that the entire university is involved in this program, such as Department of Informatics, Communication, well, anyways, according to these lists. This list, and on top of that, there is 1 joint doctoral program for sustainable research. It is called joint because it is operated jointly with neighboring university, 2 of them, Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology and Tokyo University of Foreign Studies, which are located within a stone's throw, almost literally. Now, MICH students receive guidance from faculty members working in complementary fields to help students broaden their scope of study and experience. And why do they broaden their scope of study and experience? And we all know the answer is that leads to new innovation. So I give you a master diagram for what I've just stated. The idea is then, just a moment, please. Oops. Something unexpected happened. I cannot use my pointer. Excuse me. Yes, now I do. Now, for master's course, there'll be 2 students coming in, and for doctoral courses, 6 students. Altogether, 8 students are coming in under the auspices of our government and enter into these 4 departments, or alternatively into a joint doctoral program for sustainable research operated with 2 other universities. And the fields cover from media science, management, information, all across chemistry and biology. So it is has a very broad spectrum of disciplines. The MICH students enter into this system, and then they are supposed to get educated in one particular field of specialization in which they are supposed to earn their degrees. But also, on top of that, they are supposed to take a, say, course in auxiliary course. So, in an alternative subject, that's what I mean, so that they can broaden their scope of views about engineering and informatics. Well, think of a student specializing in computer science, learning about quantum physics. He or she would then may come up with a bright idea, such as quantum computers. Well, it's not that new anymore, but that kind of innovation might arise due to such educational system. By the time, or through this training, and by the time they educate, also after education, their graduation, they expected to form networks of various trained individuals who can collectively contribute to SDGs and higher education in developing countries. And that involves not only people on campus at our university, at our neighboring universities, but the people associated with UEC, namely such as you, and maybe people in Japan and beyond. And that is the purpose of this program. The purpose is to get very broad spectrum of networks which are eventually connected into hubs of very interesting, diverse people. Well, so what about this special scholarship? What are the advantages? First, admission and tuition fees are waived. Monthly stipend of about $14,000 US dollars is paid. According to this exchange rate, which is about one US dollar is about 103 yen presently. So this amount does not allow the student to live a luxurious life, but this is sufficient for a decent student life. And on top of that, the round-trip airfare is covered by MICH. So that's a very nice system. Now, what about recruitment capacity? That's 2 students for master's course and 6 for doctoral course. There are some things you would like to pay attention to. It's about an age, there's a limitation to that. And also restrictions apply to certain countries that if they are not found in the JASO list herein, if your country is not listed, then you may have certain restrictions. Application requirements. First, GPA, grade point average, the grade, on the JASO scale must be, JASO scale, not your scale, must be 2.3 or higher. And then some language skills are required, English and or Japanese. For Japanese level, Japanese language proficiency test, N2 or higher, or if you already have earned an academic degree through Japanese, that's just fine. Or you may be expected to have English proficiency of CIPE B2 or higher. And also if you have acquired a degree through English, that is also fine. Now, for doctoral course, Japanese language is not necessary, but for master's courses, Japanese is needed. So learning Japanese is very strongly advised. But be assured that we have a complete Japanese classes offered on campus. Schedule guide, important dates. Now, an interested student must establish contact with a prospective supervisor no later than, well, possibly mid-January. And the exact date is to be announced because the exact date depends on the official posting from the Ministry of Education, and that is not coming yet, possibly around mid-December. But you should take action if you are so interested. The sooner, the better. Now, for submitting application documents, well, the deadline will be sometime in February, around mid-February perhaps. But according to the schedule from last year, that's what I mean. But presently, for the same reason as above, it is to be announced. So please keep posted if you are interested. MICH program managing organization consists of altogether 10 people, including myself, and Dr. Ishibashi is a member. Please look up the up-to-date list of our academic supervisors. Website for the contract and other information will be found later. But now, there is a message from our program director, who is also head of UEC Graduate School, Dr. Professor Nishino. He sends his best and warmest regards to the participants of this seminar, all of you, as well as to prospective MICH program candidates. Now, for finally, some information about our program, Google it simply under such keywords as UEC, MICH, etc., then you will be able to find this site and this site. There are over 200 faculty members, certified supervised doctoral and master's students. So at least you can get a clue by going, getting to this website. And there'll be further information for, say, life at UEC, and then you can get some profile about UEC through YouTube video clips. And if you're unsure, you can contact our International Student Office, but also we have set up a web page where you can type in your questions. Okay, additional notes. There may become open additional 8 positions in early December, but we don't know yet. So the result will come perhaps in early December. Then you know whether this is so or not. So please keep an eye on MICH. Thank you for your attention, and I hope UEC will be your favorite destination.